It looks like, or the bottom of the hour, but we are at the top of the hour. And as I mentioned before, we do have Jeremiah Dickerson and his uncle, Patrick Dickerson, here from Team Global Select. And if you guys missed the story, Jeremiah, other than a different look from the last time that we saw you, but you talk about someone with a story to tell, just so you can hear in a quick scenario before he tells us the more exciting news that he's been going on. I've been following him. I've been watching the growth. I've been watching what he's been doing on the court. He sends me videos. If this guy doesn't make it to the pros, he doesn't have to worry about it, because the story that he has going to share, it's like making it to the pros and then some. And thanks to Fam with his uncle, listen, there's nothing but going up. So first of all, gentlemen, Jeremiah and Patrick, thank you both for joining me here on Martinez and Company.
Sir, thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Jeremiah, I'm assuming you must be on campus, because it looks like you have that whole campus background. So you must be in your dorm room.
Yes, sir.
That's all right. Ryan knows about that stuff from back in the day, except for Ryan's looked more like a small penthouse. His was set up completely different. I don't know what it was. He actually had bricks. He didn't have the regular dorm room cinder blocks that we always see in the very old school ways. Mm-hmm. But listen, Jeremiah, the last time you were on, we were on Broad Street South, and you shared your story about what you guys had to overcome as a team, as players, as individuals, and athletes. It wasn't the most thrilling story you probably ever want to tell in your lifetime, but because of that, things have moved up, things have moved forward, and you're doing bigger and better things. So to kind of fill in everyone here, what led you to where you are, but more importantly, the story that you can share as quickly as you possibly can, what ended up happening to get you to where you are now?
Yes, sir. Mostly God just removed me from that situation and placing me in a different avenue where I'm at now, at the school I'm at now, where I feel more at home. People around me are giving me better energy. The coaches, they're more like a family from what I was dealing with before, and just welcoming. That's what I've always wanted. So I just thank God for all He's done. Lessons through to be able to get me through certain situations.
And again, because you've talked about it before, where it could have been a different route, right? Everybody knows it's so easy. And Patrick, you know this as well. One is, as men, we get fueled, right? And that fuel gets added by what? By a fire. And all it takes is that one match to ignite it and make it blow up. But what we found, the same way like Jeremiah found when he was telling us about the story originally, was, could he have gone the route that we've seen many things in TV, in the news, when people lose their cool, that it could have been name calling, all kinds of stuff that ended up happening. But you and Jeremiah both end up taking a whole different route that now not only again has led Jeremiah to a much better university, but then you guys decided to team up to, well, I'm not even going to tell a story. Patrick, you tell a story of where you guys are now.
Well, I've had the fortunate just the time spending with Jeremiah has been amazing, and what his desire is outside of what he's doing for himself in basketball. Jeremiah has a unique heart, and he really thrives to help other people. And because of his journey through the basketball, his experience that he's had, especially with AAU and how that has shaped him as a person, he's decided that is something that he wants to give back. And we're in the process of starting his AAU Team Global Select, and we're getting all of the business things in line right now. Jeremiah set his target date for actually launch of next year, and I'm excited to be a part of that with him. We're lining up everything. Just making sure we're checking everything, crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's, because again, when you're doing something like this, it's important to make sure you have everything in place. And so we're just trying to go through every single scenario to make sure that when it comes time to actually launch it, that we have everything solid and there are no hiccups or anything else. So we're going to test launch everything. We've already got the website. We're not launching it yet, of course, but we want to run our testing of it. And we're going to do that with every part of the process, from the coaching to all of the paperwork, making sure that everything is in place. So my goal, what I'm doing is basically Jeremiah is giving me what he wants to do, and I'm helping him get there with anything I can. That's my purpose in this process.
That's okay though, but it's a good purpose because again, you guys are moving mountains, right? Whether you know it or not. Jeremiah especially, because his story has been shared so much and people have gone back and watched the replay and he heard it, because again, it could have been handled so many different ways, and now becoming literally now an owner of a team, it's different because your image now follows you. So if it would have gone a whole different route, then people would have taken yourself and Jeremiah seriously, because they've been like, oh no, that's the kid who mouthed off and said this, that, and the other without actually knowing the story behind the story. Because remember, there's always three sides to every story, right? Your side, their side, and then there's the truth. And usually the truth always comes out. It's always, back. So in our generation, we've always heard our grandparents say, whatever you do in the dark, right, comes to light. And people, I can't tell you how many people probably are still in the closet because they're hoping that light never turns on, because they've done stuff that eventually will come to the light. But you guys handle it so well. And now being, again, an ownership is going to come. Jeremiah, you being so young. I mean, for those who don't know, so Jeremiah just turned 17 not too long ago. Of course, I'm kidding because he's older than that. But Jeremiah being so young, having young team market owners, it's different because we don't see today's youth as much making that kind of movement. And Jeremiah's story is where he just took something again from a negative has turned into a super positive, so much that if you guys see in my hand here, there's an envelope, and right back here is a check. Now, Jeremiah and Patrick were so nice, they sent me a check for $1.5 million to be the broadcaster next year. Listen, I was surprised, I was shocked, just as much you guys are, but listen, no, I'm kidding. As always, I like to make jokes here, but it's amazing from what I heard from you, Jeremiah. And you and I have remained in contact ever since the story broke out, and as we told everyone, and just seeing this developmental growth, to me, I'm just beyond impressed, because you know the direction that you want to go. Your family was so nice the day that you were in North Carolina, if I remember correctly, when you told the story. And the family was so cool where they just wanted to hear what was going on. I was more intrigued than what the family was. And again, because it's you, when you tell a story, people are probably going to say that's not true. But because you guys are doing what you're doing here, soon with your team come next year, I mean, that's stories are going to be told for ages. And then when you get ready to have a family, just take everything slow. Don't jump to it. There's time. There's plenty of people out there. Focus upon what you want to do, and then make that your dream that everyone will talk about. But the other thing too, and I don't think I've asked you yet too, Jeremiah, as you continue to play and you're hoping to make it to the pros or possibly make it over to the basketball league, which will help you to get to that next level. How are you going to balance the both? Because you do have your career, your athletic career, and now you're also going to have your business career at the same time.
Yes, sir. I've actually had a lot of thought about that. I know once I'm in season, it'll probably be a little bit more difficult, but I know during the season I'll do as best as I can to help out with all I can. And I'm just thankful for my uncle, because he's like the other mind. It's like we working both together. So when I'm overseas or playing or over here playing, he'll be able to help. And of course, in the off season, I'm back full time. I'm giving everything I got, and anything the business needs, I'm there. So I know off season will definitely be beneficial for me. So that's what my objective in mind has been with thinking about things like that.
Now, Pat, as you're helping out your nephew, right? And it's again, we try to keep things to the family as much as we possibly can without having any kind of animosity or anything else. It's now become somewhat of a heavy weight, right? It has to be placed on your shoulder, because now you have to make these contacts. You have to network with different people. You have to figure out what's going to be the next goal. As far as the radio side, you guys got nothing to worry about, because I have my side of the house. So if you guys need, radio airtime, that's what my side of the house provides on Sports Radio 102.9. So that part, you guys are covered. So you don't have to worry about that because, well, except for Ryan. Every once in a while I might have him chime in, here and there. He'll give us his different angle, but he's a KC fan. So he disappeared. So that's how much of an angle he ends up giving me here. But he's probably just resending stuff there. But no, at least on the sports radio side, you guys have nothing to worry about because we'll put the word out the minute that everything starts going into place. But as far as the network, because the same way you have to find sponsorships, I asked Sean Knapp as well from the Orlando Predators, who was on with me earlier, the GM. It's hard to be owner, executive, GM. You're also looking at the fan perspective, merchandising. So there's a lot. And even though Jeremiah, of course, is helping as well, but because his studies are priority, we all hope so he can continue moving up to that next level. It's a lot that weighs on you. So at the end of the day, when that it's like, okay, it's that woosah time. I got to relax. I got to do me. What's something that you can take away that you can share with people who are starting a business up without driving themselves too crazy?
We may have lost Jeremiah.
Yes, sir. I think mine did too.
We hear you. We just can't see you. He's almost there. He'll probably exit out and come back. But so Patrick went until Jeremiah comes back. So what do you do at the end of the day when it's time just to shut off the business and to be back with family? What's something that'll get you finally calm down to say, okay, tomorrow's another day, but right now I'm just going to take care of me?
Well, one of the main things that I think that we are really focused on is building the business correctly from the beginning. So I think that if we in the question you asked Jeremiah in regards to his studies and his career outside of what he's doing for his business, we went over a timeline to make sure that we had the time to actually put into what we're doing prior to this actually starting, so that we have a team in place. And our goal is to have, so right now it's a lot of grinding right now for the business, and that's required in order for us to get everything in place. But once we have everything in place, we want to have it as a system. So, as a system, everything is it's organized, it's correct. And we want to make sure that when I was talking about crossing every T and dotting every I, we want to make sure that it's set up so that if Jeremiah is away, the function of the business will still remain because the team is in place and they've been trained properly and they know exactly what to do. So our goal is to make sure that right now, while we have the opportunity, Brian put in all the time and energy we need to structure everything correctly from the beginning, so that when time is needed for spending time with family or on the other side of Jeremiah with his career, he'll still be able to balance that because we'll have the structure completely where it needs to be at. So I would just tell in terms of your question, my response would be to make sure that you're doing everything appropriately so that when you're done, you have a system in place so that if you're sick or if you can't do it or if you want to spend time with family, you can walk away and know that you have a team in place that can pick up the slack while you're away for that time.
Now, Jeremiah, as far as the team, because we know that your uncle is a big portion of this future growth with the company. Are there other family members involved as well to make sure that everyone's helping one another out to get it to that level? So you guys, when you get ready to launch everything come next year, everybody knows exactly what the role is.
Yes, sir. Definitely my father. That's my uncle's brother, so he's another big piece that is helping us as well to make sure that we have everybody on track. He's always endorsing whatever we're doing, so he's another big piece to our addition of our team. So I think with him, it's gonna bring so much workload for us that'll be easier, and it makes our life so much easier as well. So we really appreciate him.
All right, I bet now you guys, you say that's your uncle the same way. Now it's your brother, Patrick. But one thing is, I want to find out the fountain of youth that when it comes, because you guys can actually pass for brothers other than just, that being your nephew and uncle. But a lot of that too comes because we try to keep as low stress as we can in our lives. It's a different story when you live up north, like the way I did, where Ryan still lives up north. It's different because before moving down here to Florida, I had aged by 90 years. And then when I came here, because it tends to be a little bit slower, but now everybody's moving down here, so it's picking up on the pace. But we try to do stuff in our everyday life so we don't look like we age. But again, when you become owners, which you guys will both find out, that aging process might pick up just a little bit more, because it's just the stress of things. Did the checks go out on time? Did we get everybody fed? Or did the team has everything that they have? It's a lot to take on. But I know as you guys are now dealing with it, I'm pretty sure it has its fun moments as well, because for every little milestone and every little step you guys take, right, it's something new that you can kind of check off the list and say, I got this covered. So you guys being family, once again, Jeremiah being in college, and he knows the direction where he's going. Are there people that are maybe just a little bit envious of what you guys have put together?
Honestly, I don't tend to focus on that. If they are, I would hope that they aren't, because the goal is, you have someone who is, and yes, he's my nephew, but I'm not even looking at him in that perspective when it comes to the business. I look at him as, this is a business that he wanted to do, and so I take it very seriously for him. His mind is incredible. Jeremiah is extremely intelligent and very poised for his age to be so young but have such an old soul. I'm sure there are people who, especially with Jeremiah being as young as he is and doing the things that he's doing, may have a little bit of envy there. But if you know Jeremiah, you also know that his goal is only to help other people. That's what drives him in so many ways, and to be a part of that is huge. I think a lot of times when you have young people who are trying to do something incredible with their lives, and they have these big dreams, and so many people can't help to see that dream through. It's a lot of times it's just a discussion or a conversation. Where I come in, like I told you with Jeremiah, is to help push that through. And I think that if there are people who are envious, what they'll understand at the end of this is that Jeremiah is trying to build something to help many people out. That is what his goal is. And so he invites everyone who has a serious mindset to be a part of it. And so there's no need for anyone to be envious. Come join, help out, and there's always something that everyone can do.
All right. Well, speaking of, there's two things here. One is, you just brought up a point where I was going to ask as well, is that, how can people just end up helping you guys out? But also, before you get to that, Jeremiah, your prediction, and I know that the team's not put together yet. We're still getting the key pieces into place. How do you feel what the success that you're about to bring to the AAU? How do you feel your team in the division that you're going to end up being in? How well do you believe your team could end up doing just within the first year? We're not even going to the first 5 years, just that first initial inaugural year.
Yes, sir. I think for the first year, it's just going to be growth. I think I just want to see them grow, and just for them to push themselves on and off the court. We're going to teach them things where it's going to be life skills and basketball skills that they probably have never received before, and we want to dive into the game with them on and off the floor that usually AAU programs don't usually do. So I think that's our biggest factor, and we're going to use the first year as just like the projection, like, where we can be in the next 5 years. This is okay. We know what we're going to do from this point, and we know what we can do from 5 years from now. So it's just going to be a learning experience for the first year. And I'm just really excited about it, to see the kids have fun, learning, growing, getting them into programs if they're able to play. If they're not able to play, we're just going to be happy to see them doing things at the next level, and even life skills. If they can't go to college, or they have other aspirations of just being a barber, other things like that, with the keynote speakers we bring in, that just brings success on us as well. So that's what we mainly look forward to as well. So, yes.
And it's a funny question, right? Because it's when you go to an interview. I think the toughest part is they have that one person. It'd be like you and I, Patrick, right? We bring somebody in and we say, okay, what can you do for the success of this team? And then the magical question always is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And to me, it's always like one of those trick questions, because I know almost every company is out there scripted because they want to see what you have planned. I think only one time, and it was because the way the interview was, it was such a weird vibe that I didn't know if the guy was trying to talk to me or if he wanted to kind of scold me because he was having a bad day. So when he asked me the question, he kind of looked over to his right and looked back at me. I said, well, I guess I'll be in your spot in 5 years, won't I? And the guy didn't know what to do. He just looked at me like, did he just say he was going to take my spot? But after that, he like bursted into laughter because it was one of those things like he kind of felt in the moment that he realized that the question didn't come across the way it should have. So with you guys, and Jeremiah just touched upon, the 5-year growth of the company and the organization, going back to where people can turn around now and ask you guys, what can they possibly do to help? Where could people reach you guys to either, it could be for sponsorship, it could be just some networking where someone may know somebody to make the process easier for you guys. So how can they get a hold of you guys to make the process just a little bit better for you?
Right now, Jeremiah is doing most of the receiving of the information and more or less distributing it out to me at the moment. What we have just done is, of course, we've got our server set up. So in the very near future, probably within the next week or two, we're going to have our email portal set up so that people can actually access it from there. That'll be displayed on the website itself. What I would tell everyone right now is just go to teamglobalselect.com. It is not up, and it's not up yet at this moment, but we're going to have information that's going to be displayed on it within the next week or two that people can still click on the link to get to at least an email. And then we're going to also be putting some other information on there. We're going to have basically with the process that we're doing, me and Jeremiah, we meet on a weekly basis and we go over our objectives for the following week. We break it into small pieces because there's so many pieces, as you said earlier. It is a lot to take on, and I am very excited that Jeremiah didn't put an unrealistic timeline on it. We have been already in process of doing this right now for about 6 or 7 months. And so we have another, good period of time left to finish up with whatever is left. But yeah, right now I would tell everyone to go to teamglobalselect.com, and we're going to have an info page up there within the next week or so that they can actually just send their information, and Jeremiah will be checking that for right now. And as more information comes out, we'll distribute that accordingly. But yes, we would love to have anyone who's interested in helping, anyone interested in sponsoring. Nothing is too small. Our goal is to really make this happen. When you asked about year one, I always tell Jeremiah something when he's out on the court, and I think this applies to life. And anything you're doing, if you're giving your best at it, you win. Everyone a lot of times think that it's about the points that are on the court. Yes, of course, that's winning the game. But you also have to apply that to yourself, your personal goals. And what I tell him, in everything you do, as long as you're giving 100% of it, you got to give 100% of yourself in it, and you will cross the finish line and win that. It sometimes may not be as simple or easy as you want it to be, but you have to, press yourself forward. But yes, we would love anyone who's interested to please give us, their contact information and let us know how they can help, and we would definitely find something for them.
All right, and I'll offer Ryan to you because if you guys need a court jester, if you need a comedian or something else, that's what Ryan's good for. So no, I'm his kid, but no, Ryan's he can be a good resource as well because he tries to reach out on my side of the house to try and help out as much as possible. But Ryan's got a good head on his shoulders. If you need something, possibly something answered, reach out to him on social media, which I'm pretty sure that everybody should have right now, which is the Neff Ski. When it comes to, I don't know why he doesn't ski, so I don't know why you put the Neff Ski. It's a thing. I don't know what it is, but Ryan's been to college before. He's dealt with radio before, and so he's been around a little bit to figure out if things are going in the right or wrong direction. So he's always a good resource. But for you guys, for Patrick and Jeremiah, I know he probably can hear me, and his picture had disappeared there for a second. But the same way, also let everybody know too about your social media handles. Therefore, people can start following you as well until your website comes live.
Yes. Team Global Select will be all of the handles also. So Instagram, Twitter, Jeremiah is already set up. I think most of those already. So you can also go there. Yes, definitely. Team Global Select. For Instagram, Jeremiah, I'll let you speak on that a little bit more. On the social media.
We also the Instagram and the Twitter page is set up, and we're also having the TikTok page is set up. So just trying to adapt to the new social media tools and just to get us out there. It's never enough to not have your platform on different sites. So we're aiming at being on all platforms, even Facebook. I know a lot of people are starting to gravitate away from it, but we want to get on there as well so we can get a broad viewership from everybody.
No, that's good because Ryan, I think, is the only guy that still owns a piece of MySpace. I don't know why. They've turned it into a storage place, but for some reason, he's the only one that's on MySpace. See, now this is the only time I can ever rag on him because most of the time he always turns it on me. But that's okay. See, you got to wait for it, Ryan. Just every once in a while. I know you like to pick on me a lot. This is my night to be able to do it with you. But let's Ryan and I go back, and we like to have fun with each other. If we didn't, obviously he wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't be with him as well. Yes?
I have to get one question into the two of them, and I'm going to pose this. You see where college athletics is headed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, with the name, image, likeness. Nick Saban came out the other day and said we should get rid of the term student athlete because there's no student athletes anymore. Now, I beg to differ because some of the less fortunate who are not going to get a piece of the pie at NIL have something they have to have something to fall back on. Jeremiah, Patrick, you have to be living on the North Pole not to see what's happening. What do you feel about that? And it's an AAU program that, again, life skills. Well, if you can't make it, you've got to have something to fall back on as far as a plan B in life.
Yes, I 100% agree with that, and I think that's one of the better things that I think that Jeremiah has planned for his team. When we first started talking about the concept of what he wanted to do with it, and that is that yes, you're going to have some players that are they're going to excel in the sport, and hopefully make money with the name, image, and likeness, or getting into the professional arena. But you're going to have, realistically speaking, some that are not. And the goal is to build a team where it's not just about the sport itself, but also about where else you can go in your life. So to make sure, even if you do, get the money coming in from name, image, and likeness, you also know how to appropriately deposit that money or make the money work for you. So we want to talk about some of those things to at least open the door so that it's more than just about the sport, but you understand that there are other concepts outside of this, so that even if you make a whole lot of money, you need to be able to hold on to a whole lot of money and not frivolously get rid of it. So we want to make sure that the skill set is beyond just the sport itself, and hopefully some of the players that are on Jeremiah's team will have an amazing the amazing opportunity to benefit from some of these newfound things that have just opened, the doors are wide open for a lot of players now. And I love what you said about some of the players that are not in a position, may not be in the same position as others are. Well, our goal is to pull those into and see what we can do to help them, get to another level for themselves, because regardless of anything, sport or not, life will still go on for those people. We want to make sure that they have the tool set for that part of it too.
No, listen, fellas, I appreciate you guys coming on tonight as we're heading here to the bottom of the hour break, but I thank you both. And by the way, Ryan is the only one. So you guys have AAU. He has AAA, which is the Athletic Association Anonymous. That means that anyone that ever played and had no idea who he was, that's the division he belongs to, because I never knew he played either. But, I just leave you guys with that one. But anyways, thank you, Jeremiah. As always, listen, we're always in constant communication. We're going to be constantly communicating back and forth, because not only am I going to pick up on where you're heading to athletically in your pro career, but also with Team Global Select. And the other thing I want to say too is when that second jersey, not the first one, because the first one means a lot when it comes to building up the team. The second one, all right, signed one so I can hang it here in the studio. So I know, like when Jeremiah first started, I was the guy that at least was able to talk to him before everything kicked off. And the same way with you, Patrick. So don't feel bad. Just both guys signing off. I'll frame it and have it right here in the studio.
That sounds great. Thank you for having us.
No problem. All right, you guys. So once again, everyone, you guys can go to Global Select, am I correct, .com?
Yes, and that's also Global Select on Instagram, on any of the social media platforms.
All right, don't forget
Team Global Select.
There you go. Give him a follow, because again, Jeremiah, you guys can see how humble he is. I don't have to sell that one, because you can see how humble he is. He just stays right where he is. He's focused upon and driven what he wants to do, and that's the most important part. So you guys will hear a lot more of it, not only on this side of the house, but also on the Broad Street South side of the house, where we met and we had spoken. So the good thing is, the more things come around, then the more at least you guys will be able to hear how this young company is going to continue to thrive and grow. So thank you guys so much. And for everyone else, we will be back here. Martinez Company. Don't forget, starting first thing in the morning, you got Pete Shepard with the Pete Shepard Show from 7 to 10 a.m., followed by what's soon to be Defo, and well, not Luby, but Defo will be coming back. But in the meantime, we have the best of, and you guys will be hearing the best of the Super Bowl throughout the week. So that'll go on to the end of this week. Then from 1 to 3, you have Jim Cosymore, Dave Benz, and Matt Fowler with the LFG Show, followed by Tony and Miss Robin on the Tony Bruno Show from 3 to 6 p.m. Myself, normally Rich Quinones with Ryan Neff. I was trying to say two names at once here. Ryan Neff filling in for Rich Quinones here at Martinez Company. And right behind us is AJ Johnson and the Bleacher Brothers. So we'll be back. Hopefully the commercials will work here. I don't know. I might have to do what you said before, Ryan. Go to the Cicada angle on this side.
Congratulations, guys, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
No problem.